Hello and welcome to our second video of CSC 455. And today we're gonna discuss about chapter 2, which is hardware and software. So let's start. So here we're gonna talk about we'll be begin by the obstacle that in the early age where graphics designer or graphics area have faced. In the early century, the graphics hardware were too much expensive, and at that time, computer resources also are not those resources as well as the hardware of graphics hardware get cheaper after the invention of Macintosh. Then another resource another obstacle was for graphics that software wasn't portable for individual device. You have to make individual software or individual language, so it was quite tough that time. And another thing is that at that time, this type of interact program or graphics program, writing that code was too much difficult, and those code were so large, and it was on the beginning stage, and it was also new stage, so that the making those codes are quite harder for the programmer as well. So these three issues have been faced the graphics sector in the early age, but nowadays those three barriers are not present nowadays. And next, let's talk about graphics software. So graphics software are special purpose application software which serves the graphic and create graphics or edit graph object by using the software. But inside those software there are more two subcategory, which are general programming package and another was application package. In programming package, especially for the programmers, we have to make objects by using only codes. For example, OpenGL. In OpenGL, to create an object, circle or rectangle, whatever you want, create those things, you have to just write the code to make it. And another types of another types of graphic software is application package, where it's designed for non-programmer. So here you don't need to write the code, or also don't need to think about the background process. You have the tools, and the interface is quite easy to use, and anyone can draw or create graphics by using this type of application. For this type of applications are Adobe Photoshop, Paint, Dream, etc. So in this chapter, we'll be talking about monitors, also type monitors. But here's a clash. Let's talk about this CRT, or we can say cathode ray tube, and another hand we have LCD, liquid crystal plate. So let's compare between them, which are best. So let's first talk about CRT. CRT has wider viewing angle, which LCD doesn't have, and it doesn't emits radiation. The LCD does emits radiation, and the price is quite cheaper than LCD, and the resolution is good in every quality of the picture is constant, which is good constant quality in every resolution. On the other hand, LCD has also good resolution, but in native resolution, or you can say default resolution that LCD monitor has, that is the only display or only resolution which perform a good quality. Besides that, LCD are less consume power less. Also, their height, their size and weight are smaller than CRT. So these two advantage LCD has, and this four advantage CRT has. So here, that if you make a fight between CRT and LCD, probably win the term of advantage, because they have more advantage than. So let's talk about the CRT more deeply. How CRT works. So that I have a diagram here to demonstrate working process of a CRT. So here the diagram shows how the CRT actually works. Here's the CRT monitor. At the screen is a phosphorus coated screen. Inside, at the bottom, at the backward, you will see a connector pin and a base with a electron gun. Actually, when it connect to the electricity, this pin goes to the base, and the base get heated, and the electron gun shoots beam toward the phosphorus screen. So the electron beam goes through focusing system and deflection to the particular area of a screen to emit the phosphorus. As you can see, this beam is pointed but contact in this point, so the phosphorus of this point will be start glowing. Another thing you have to know that phosphorus light emit the phosphorus lighting it very fast. So to have a constant light, have to redo it again and again. The process of redoing the refresh rate. It in normal time it's 60 Hz, and say that in a second 60 times this phosphorus screens drawing give us a constant stable. This is how the PRT works. Then comes the persistence. Persistence means without how long the phosphorus will be emitting without external energy or beam. Long persistence is good for static image, and low persistence is good for animation. And nowadays there's a standard range persistence is 10 to 60 microseconds. Then comes the resolution. So resolution is the number of print per centimeter can be plotted horizontally and vertically. Another thing under resolution is aspect ratio. So the ratio of the horizontal points of vertical points necessary to produce full length line in both directions on the screen, called aspect ratio. Actually, it gives a good quality of picture. Then comes the frame. Is a rectangular shape and which is meant for inserting graphics or text in video. It means individual picture of a sequence image. So frame buffer. Then comes the frame buffer. Frame buffer means it's actually holds the picture definition, where the color will be set, where what will be the size of the picture. Those type of informations are stored in frame buffer. And there are two types of frame buffer. One is one bit frame buffer, also known as the bitmap, just known as bitmap, and systems are known as bitmap system. One bit frame buffer allows color is black and white. Another bit frame buffer allows 56 colors. And the image called as Pixmax of the system, the whole system is known as. That's about the scanning. And scanning means the drawing. The image on the screen is also referred as scanning. There are three types of scanning process. So one is raster scanning, where the electron beam is swapped across the screen one row at a time, from top to bottom. Another one is a random scan, or you can say vector display. Like in this vector display, the electron beam is directed part of a screen where the and refresh rate should be than 3 Hz to avoid flickers. Another one is a alternative raster image. Just even or odd skin lines convert into successive circle. This refresh rate, we have talked about it earlier on this video. Still, I'm gonna talk it again. Refresh rate. It means the number of picture is redrawn second millisecond. Let's talk about the color CRT. Color CRT means combination of color CRT use two method. Is beam penetration method only use random scanning. This one is shadow penetration. Penetration, what we have is penetration, two phosphorus layer. The top outer layer is a green phosphorus filled with green phosphorus layer, and the deeper inside of it has a red phosphorus layer. And the electron beam goes through those phosphorus layer and create a pixel. Here, from the intensity, the color intensity of that beam is higher than this green light, then it will reflect light. Then uh, depending on the varieties show different color. Comes the shadow mask technique. Shadow penetration technique. There's a shadow mask present, and there will be red blue. In pixel, there will be three dot. In the three gun will go through the shadow mask and float it in the on the screen. The shadow penetration will work. Let's talk about panel display. Flat panel display are also referred as raster refresh display. Based on their emitting two types, active passive. In active, we'll see flat CRT and plasma gas, passive, liquid, and OLED. In flat CRT, what happens that beam goes screen reflect as 90 degrees. Plasma gas, in plasma gas display, there are a small matrix cell screen on the screen. Inside the screen, neon gas build up. When voltage to those gases chambers, those cans be ionized. And, based on their ionized form, they shows different types of color on the screen. Then we have a liquid crystal. So liquid crystal has two ionized. Between them, there's a liquid circle or liquid current goes through paralyze. Are what to say liquid stands or arranged in many different shapes. Well, actually, it works like a shutter, creates the image. In reality, there's a multiple layer. There are organic layers, or in those layers, there's a lot of hole. One there also have a cathode and anode. Between cathode and anode, there's an organic mass. The electron goes from cathode to anode. There's in the between there's organic mass layer. On that organic layer, holes are filled up. You can see the color. Intensity depends on the voltage. Color depends on the layer qualities. It was all about this chapter. Like the video. Thanks for watching.